I don't think we'll wait for all of them. We'll just start from now because now time is going. Okay, so yesterday we already talked about the marking out, and today I'll show you the first project. This project, some of you already did this project before. Some of you already did this project before. Some of you, Assalamu alaikum.
Salam rahmatullah.
Sorry, mister.
No problem.
I have a problem with class here.
It's okay. Some of you already started this project, and some of you, well, I think only one person finished, and the rest, at least you know what was the requirement for this one. So today we'll just go through, because this is supposed to be a practical session. We just look at what is the requirement for us to perform the project, because this is the first project you're supposed to do. It's called the Center Square project for Metalwork. So we'll look at the tools and the procedure on how we are supposed to conduct this project. The first thing we have to make sure we have is the marking tools. The marking tools, remember, are the tools we will use to mark our project. And the marking tools, remember, was a scriber. We have the steel rule, the engineer's square, we have the surface plate, we have the vernier caliper, we have the divider caliper, and the center punch, and the engineer's blue. So these are the tools which are going to help us in doing the marking out. Marking out is just a drawing. You make the drawing on the workpiece, on your hadia. You make the drawing on your hadia. And then what are the tools you'll use for work holding? Only two tools I think you can use here is the bench vise and the clamp. And the tools we're using for cutting, we have the file and the hacksaw. Abdullah, what do you call this guy? Abdulaziz, what types of files do you remember? I told you before.
Yes, mister.
What types of files do you remember?
في file flat.
Flat file, yeah.
Oh, دقيقة mister.
You were supposed to remember this one often.
No. I remember في الناعم في نص دائرة half circle.
Half circle or half round. It's called a half round, yes.
And triangle.
Yes, the triangle. This one triangle like this.
Yes.
Yes, the flat file. And
yes.
Then the other half round.
Half
okay.
Circle.
Half circle, half round. And then also another cutting tool here we have is the hacksaw. The hacksaw, we talked about hacksaw yesterday. I told you how to use the hacksaw, how to replace the blades yesterday about the hacksaw. Another tools we'll use is the anvil. Anvil is where we will hammer your hadia and your workpiece. The bench table. The bench table is where the bench vise is mounted at. The emery cloth or samfaras, and the hammer. So before you start this workpiece, you'll have to go to the workshop where we store this material here at the store. First thing you have to check, you have to do inspection, because you have to know the material you're going to use is good material, because the material here, remember I have the drawing, I give the drawing on the board, and the material we are using here is mild steel. Okay, this material is mild steel, and from the drawing you can see how many thickness. Saud, how many thickness?
Yes, mister.
How was the thickness of the material? It's here.
Mister.
3 mm. This is the thickness of the material for the first project. First, you have to check on the drawing. You have to know what you need on the drawing. What material is needed is mild steel, because if you go to the store, there's so many. There's so many materials. There's aluminium, copper, bronze, rod. Yes, too much metal. So Let him check
Yes.
on the drawing here. You check on the drawing what the teacher wants. The teacher wants mild steel.
Yes.
And then how much thickness? 3 mm.
3, Mr.
Yes.
3 mm.
Because in the store, fee 4 mm, fee 5 mm, fee 6 mm.
6 mm.
So,
yes.
Yes. So you have to check which is the required material, because from the drawing, we have to check this the drawing. And then also, when you're checking on the material, you have to check on if the edges are straight or square. Because sometimes these materials come baladia or damaged. So you take the good material. Check on the material first. Make sure the material is good. Check if it does cracks or dents. Because sometimes we buy this from Snaya, material from the Snaya, and maybe material is very old from the Snaya. And sometimes this material, when they put on the truck or they do the transportation, this material come damaged. You may find sometimes maybe a hammer, somebody hit a hammer here, and this material Murphy cedar, it has a dent. It's dent like this. So you have to check when you're taking material from the store. You have to take material which is straight, no dents, and then no twist. The material is not bent, because if you take material which is bent, it's your problem now. When you start your shugul or your work, it's your time. You'll get too much time. You have to untwist this material or these cracks or bends on the material. So try and see when you go to the store, you get the best material, good material, so that when you start your work, no, it will not waste time. And then also, you have the drawing here. You have the drawing. You know the measurements. How much length, how much width is needed for the material. So take the material that is enough for your project. Don't take again a small project, a small dimension work, and then when you start the work, you find out that you've wasted so much time and the material is small, so you cannot perform the work. So try and get the right size of the material, which has enough dimensions. For example, this material has a length of here to here 100. Okay. Here how much, Saud?
Yes, Mr.
How much here to here?
Right?
What's the length from here to here?
Mr. هذا هنا for
24 24.
24. Yes, 24.
Yes. And هنا
And هنا 10.
10. So كله how much? So هنا 24, 100, and here 10. So كله 134. 134. And yes, this is gonna 134 is the length, total length from here to here. This is the total length. Yes. Now from here, yes, here to here, kulu how much? 24. Okay.
Yes.
So we have length of 134 and width of 24. So when you're taking material from the store here, when you're taking material, lazim make sure material is enough, because your material that you need for your project, the length from here to here is 134. And from here to here, what do you need? You need 24. So when you go to the store, we want material. So lazim take ziyada. You have to take ziyada material. So you have to take ziyada maybe 140 long, because you have to cut this one. So lazim take ziyada. And then maybe here you have to take some ziyada length. So the width. Maybe another kulu 30 here. So when you go to the store, you need to take a full size of material, which is 30 mm and 140. So that when you start your project, you have enough. So you have enough material for you to cut here. So when you go to take the store material from the store, you try and make sure you have enough material. The last thing here is the metal. Remember, I told you, you're supposed to check here, the metal type. Here we need mild steel. So when you go to the store, you make sure you get the correct type of metal. Don't bring aluminum and start working with aluminum. I'll give you a 0 because I told you material I need is mild steel. So if you go to the store, don't bring aluminum. Don't bring bronze or copper. Just bring mild steel. Okay. So after you get the material from the store, now you have to do your measurement checking. You have to, because now you have a long material. This material here is a very long sheet of metal. Maybe sometimes if you go to the store, maybe the store will not have this type of small material like this one. Maybe they'll have a big sheet of metal. Maybe they'll have something like this. They may you may get maybe here kilo length 1000 mm and in a 600. And how much you need? You need only this. But remember, how many are you in class? You are 10 people in class. Maybe this is MR42. 42 is 10 people. And then MR41. 41, I don't know whether they're 8 or 10. And then MR41, 42, 43. Maybe another 10. So we have this 100 mm, 1000 mm, and 600. So we need to divide this one so that we don't waste material. So we divide it like this one. You see, like this drawing here, this man made a drawing. So from here to here, we have 30 mm. But then from here, we have 140. So we cut small pieces, small pieces for you, for the whole class. You see, the whole class is here 10, 8, 4. So most of the time, if you go to the workshop, you'll not find small material like this. You'll find big material, 1000 to 600 mm. So you have to cut it into small pieces so that for the whole class, maybe one person will cut here, another person will cut here, another person. So we need to participate in cutting. So if I tell you to cut, let him come and participate in the cutting of the material. So this is how we check the dimensions and we make the marking out. Remember, when you're marking out, you use a scriber. Another tool we'll use is a steel rule, or the engineer's blue, or the chalk. This is a chalk. Sometimes maybe the material you cannot see properly. You put the chalk, and then when you do write with your scriber, it will help you to see properly on the material you're marking. And remember, here I'm telling you, lazim make ziyada at least 0.5 mm kabir, because here we need 134. And I'm telling you here, 134 make at least 140. That's why it means here, when you're cutting this material, make at least ziyada extra, so that if you make mistake, at least maybe you still have some more material you can use. Any question? Abdullah Nazir?
No, thank you, Mr.
Nazir? Abdullah Nazir? Hello? Mohammed?
Internet may be problem, teacher. Internet.
What's the problem with the internet?
Yes.
Mohammed, where Mohammed? Mr. Mohammed?
Yes, teacher.
How are you?
I am fine.
You have any question from as far as we've reached here? Any question?
No.
Okay, so now we want to start this shugul here. And you've already gone to the store, you got your metal, you cut it, and now I want to start the metalwork now. So we'll have to go one step at a time. You have to know what you need to do, step at a time. Because if you don't follow my steps and you start doing your own steps, and then you find yourself going round, and wasting too much time and wasting material. So when we go back to DFP, next time we go to DFP, I'll show you. I'll guide you how to do this work step by step. So now let's assume now that you've cut this material here. Okay, and the material you cut is 140 by 30 mm. This is the 30 mm is your width, and the length is 140. All our dimensions are in millimeters, not inches or centimeters. All the dimensions here are in millimeters. Remember how much I need from the length. I need a total of 134. Remember this, Abdulaziz or Abdullah? Abdulaziz? Mr. Abdulaziz? Hello? Abdulaziz? Saud, what happened to Abdulaziz?
I don't know, Mr. Maybe internet.
So remember we talked about this one is going to be 134 millimeters with a total width of 24 millimeters. So now we want to start the procedure here. So the first thing, after you've done the inspection and cut the material from the store, and now this is the material you have, 140 mm and 30 mm. So the first thing, after you get the material, you need to check if the material is cedar, flat. You use engineer's tri-square or T-square. This is a T-square. You used this one before. This one, this is your workpiece. You put your workpiece on the table. This is your workpiece or hadia. You put your workpiece on the table. You put it on the table because on the table and check on the flatness. You make sure the whole place is flat. From here, cool flat. You take another dimension here, flat, and then another place here, flat. Make sure all this is flat. If your material is like this, so you know you have a problem here. So what will you do? You'll have to take it to the bench vise. This not the bench vise. You take it to the anvil, and you hammer. You hammer here to make it cedar. Because sometimes when you're cutting with the hacksaw, the material will go like this. Because this material is not very thick. It's only 3 mm. So when you're cutting this material, sometimes it will go it will become not straight. It will start having curves. So before you start any work, make sure your work is straight. You take this material, you take it to the anvil, and you hammer it on the anvil to make it cool flat. And then after, let's say you finish, now the material is flat. What's the next thing you'll do? Mr. Saud, what will you do?
How, Mr.?
After the material you take to the anvil, you hammer. Now your material is cedar, straight. What's the next procedure you'll do?
Next, Mr. Next شوف كم هنا مساحة.
But then what's next? After you cut, after you already hammer the material, remember you take this material to anvil and you make with the hammer, boom, 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 you make straight.
Yes.
Yes. What's the next project? What's the next thing you'll do?
Measuring, Mister.
Yes, you make the measure.
Yes,
You make the measure, because remember here is 140, and here from here is 30. But before you make any measurement, the first thing I need you to do is to file 2 places. That's what I'm talking about here. File 2 places, 2 edges. So you will file here, make it cedar, and then file here, make cedar. Only 2 places, here and here. That's the first thing you'll do. After you from anvil, you finish with the anvil, you make it here cedar and here cedar. Okay, you make this straight and here straight, because these 2 this one and this one will be our reference point, or sometimes in English we call it our datum edge. If you hear datum edge, this same like the reference point. Reference point is where you start with your measurement, because from here, remember, I need how much? I need 24 here, and here I need 134. So once you make this one cedar, you take a what do you call it? Tri-square. Make sure this one is 90 degrees, and it's flat, 90 degrees, and then also this other side 90 degrees from here. Once you finish this 90 degrees, I want you to make a measurement. Take a steel rule. Because here now is cedar, and this side is cedar. Take a steel rule from here to here. Measure 24. Then draw a line from here to here. It has to be 24, because we need 24 here from the drawing here. We need 24 here. So you take a steel. This is your steel rule. You measure from here, because this one it's already flat here. That's why I told you have to measure, make this one straight. From here to here, take a steel rule and measure here. Make it 24. But then from here to here again, take the same steel rule, measure how many? 134. So from here to here, 134. And then take a hacksaw, only like 2 millimeters away from here, 2 mm away from here. Draw another line here. Same awalina. Draw another line here for 2 mm. This line you're drawing for 2 mm is where you're gonna take a hacksaw and cut here. Because if you take a hacksaw and cut straight here on 134, maybe your work will go like this. Mafisida, and then problem jadid again. So that's why I'm saying from here, only ziyada 2 mm from here. And then take hacksaw, cut here straight line. Also from here, take a hacksaw, because this is your 24 line here. So maybe make 27 here. And then cut here with the hacksaw. Straight, cut with the hacksaw. After you finish cutting the hacksaw is when now you can file. You can file here. Okay, you understand? Abdulaziz. Malum. Mohsen.
Yes, Mr. معلوم.
Malum.
ايوه.
Hello, teacher.
Yeah, I was asking you if you understand what you are doing.
Yes, teacher, yes.
So once you make your marking and you cut with your hammer or you cut with your hacksaw, and now your workpiece is like this. Now here you already cut, you will file here. You borrow all this out. So here you will have 134. Then next here you will have 24. Because we need here Kulu 134 and Kulu here 124. This the second thing I need you to do. First is this one. Make sure you get this datum edge first. File these 2 places. File here and file here. Make straight. Check with the T-square and the tri-square, engineer square. Make sure here is 90 degrees, here is 90 degrees, and here is flat, and here is flat. Once you make sure this one is flat, take a steel rule. This is your steel rule here now. From here, because here is already straight, from here to here, make 24. Draw a line here. But then again, put another steel rule from this side. This is another steel rule from here to here. Make 134 line here. But I told you, make another ziyada line, 2 mm ziyada. 2 mm, because we are cutting with a hacksaw, and problem hacksaw mafi cut cedar. So we will make an extra 2 mm so that we can cut from here. In case we go like this, map is straight, at least we still have some room here. We can file this one out so that we don't go to the exact line, because if this is a 134 here and then you go see the not straight, that means your whole shugul is not good. You'll have to start a new again. So now you filed already 134 and 24. So the next thing now you need to do is marking out. You have to draw this one on the metal. You have to draw the whole of this drawing on your metal. This is another marking out now. You take your scriber and you draw this on your metal. This is what you'll do here. This is, let's say, your shugul now. It's already straight. From here to here, we said is 134. And then from here to here, we say it's 24 already. After you make a file with your filing, you make everything is straight. So the first thing we'll have to draw is this curve here. And this curve is 24. If you come here, so from here to here, take your ruler, you make 24. You make a line here, 24. You draw a line here for 24. And then from here, take another line, draw. So here is 10. And here is 24. So take your divider, this divider here. Okay, you make 24. From here to here is 24. So on your 24, you draw the nose circle like this until it meets on the line here. So you make this half circle here to 24. Oops, my drawing must be good. Okay, and then this is a 24 diameter or radius, 24 mm radius, sorry. This one here, 24. Okay, and then from here, this 24 is not very good, very straight line, because it's supposed to be 24, supposed to come all the way to the top. So your 24 will come like this. So your 24 will come until here. This you're using this divider here to draw half circle, Murphy full circle, half circle of 24 radius. So we say this one is like your 24 mm radius. But then from here to here, take your steel rule, measure 30 mm. So your steel rule will measure here 30 mm from here to here. This one is going to be your 30 mm. You measure from here to here. And then now we come back here. Remember here is 10 mm. It's a small circle here of 10 mm. So we come here, draw with the divider, this divider here. You use a divider, you draw 10, like this. If Murphy Suv on the metal, sometimes you cannot see clearly on the metal. That's why we use this chalk. Where is the chalk? I told you here, the chalk. Or we don't have engineer's blue in the DFE. Normally we use this white chalk. This is a chalk you will apply on the metal so that you can, when you're drawing, when you're making this drawing with the divider, this divider caliper, when you're drawing, first you have to make with the chalk. Sometimes this metal material is not very clear, so sometimes you have to use the chalk. So this chalk will make it very visible for you to see from here to here. But then after you finish here, you draw here already is 30. From here is 30 mm. You draw a line to here. Okay. The drawing is not very good here because of this. I'm using a mouse, so it's very difficult to draw with a mouse. So From here, we'll make a curve and then another small curve here. So basically, what we are trying to do, we are trying to get this curve here like this. So here will be our 24, and then here will be cedar. And then here, this is a 10 I'm talking about here, small 10 here. And then another mstar here. So this is the 24 I'm talking about, this 24 mm. And then from here to here is 30 mm. And this is what? The 10 radius. This is a radius here. Radius. So Kulu should be giving you 134 mm. Okay. So imagine now you have this all material to remove, because now you already make your drawing here. You make your drawing here. So this material lazim bara out. So you have to draw. For me, I'll draw another line here. Maybe from here to here another 2 mm. And then I take a hacksaw. I take a hacksaw, I cut here. I'll cut here with the hacksaw. Then also from this side, I'll make another mstar here. With a distance of 2 mm, I take a hacksaw, I bara this Kulu out. So this is the extra piece I'm saying you have to remove. There's an extra material from here. So all this material we need to remove. All this material we need to remove. So this material we have to remove with the hacksaw. We cut with the hacksaw straight and cut the hacksaw straight here. Then we do the filing. Remember, we have two types of two ways we can file. One is draw filing and another one is through filing. Through filing is, let's say this is your workpiece idea, and this is the bench vise. Your material is held here on the bench vise. I say this one maybe the bench vise. So your material is here. So through filing, you're filing like this across the material. You file like this. This one you're trying to remove a lot of material. Let's say this is your material here, and I'm trying to remove 2 mm. 2 mm is very big material to remove on a file. So if you need to remove 2 mm, you file like this, draw across the material, because now you're filing across the material. If you file across the material like this one is called a through filing, and it's going to remove a lot of material. But then this other draw filing, the draw filing is this one here. So now your material is here on the bench vise. You hold it here on the bench vise, and then you shear. You're going like this. Now you're not going like this. Now you're going towards yourself. You're filing away and towards yourself, away and towards yourself. This one, maybe your material you're trying to remove, maybe suya left, maybe 0.5 mm left. If it's 0.5 mm left, that's when we use a draw filing, and we use a draw filing file, a smooth file. This is a smooth file, so that because we need only small mm to remove, a small material to remove. That's why we're using a small a smooth file, because we have different types of files. Remember, there's a raw file. Raw file is one we use for heavy removing of material, and then we have this other small file. It's called a smooth file. The smooth file is what we use it for draw filing only, when small material is required to be removed. And then after you finish, remember, we can now use the round file or half round file to get these corners here. These are the corners here. You'll have to use half round file. These corners here, you'll have to use half round file. You cannot use this flat file. You use a round file, half round file, so that you can get this smooth curve here and the smooth curve for the 10 radius here. Once you finish, you measure your material. You use a vernier caliper to measure your material. Make sure these are your dimensions. because we need 134 here. You have to measure from here to here with your vernier caliper, and measure from here to here 30 mm. So you make sure your tolerance is good. If your tolerance is ziyada, then you lose a lot of marks. And also this circles here, we have a radius gauge. This radius gauge, we'll use it to get the radius of the circle. We put the radius gauge here, and I'll check if 24 millimeters or 10 millimeters. If everything is okay and everything is fine, and I've checked your measurement, I've checked everything is okay. Now when you take the sunflowers, in a sunflowers here, you take the sunflowers and you apply the sunflowers on top of the file, and then you go round, filing all the material out here, making sure everything is smooth and to the required tolerance. Because if I tell you I need 134, and maybe you give me 134.5, this one I'll remove too much marks from you. So I may need 134, maybe 0.1 or 134.2. Mafi ziyada. On the 24 mm, I may need 24.1 or 24.2. I don't need ziyada here. So make sure when you're sunfiring, also you're checking with your vernier caliper. You make sure all the dimensions are right. And then lastly, after you finish, you have to return all the tools and conduct 5S. All the tools, if let's say files, you take all the files to the files location. If it's a hammer, you use hammer, take all the hammers to the required locations. Okay, any question?
No, teacher. Thank you.
Mr. Atif, why you come very late? Atif. Mr. Atif. You must be here. Okay, so on Wednesday, again we'll have the 2 assignments.
Yes.
And on Thursday we'll have the
Exam.
the quiz, the exam.
Yes.
Okay, so on Wednesday I'll give you videos to watch. Okay.
Okay.
I'll give you the 2 videos to watch. You'll watch the 2 videos and then you'll give me a summary. What did you understand from the video? Okay, you have to write for me a summary. What do you learn from the video? On Thursday, I will give you this drawing here. Alamis. I will give you this story, this drawing. You will tell me what tools you use, marking tools. You have to tell me what is the work holding tools, what tools for cutting, what other tools you will use. You will tell me step by step, the way I was telling you, how you remove the material from the store, what dimension you'll check. The same story I'm giving you now, you'll have to make a summary, or you have to tell me how you will make this material. What tools you use for marking out, what tools you use for making your measurements, and what material you need to use, and how much thickness is required. Okay.
Okay.
This one for exam number Thursday. If in case you have any question or problem with your exam, please send me a WhatsApp message, and then we'll see how I can help you. Okay.
Okay, Mister.
Everything clear?
Clear, Mister.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. See you.
Thank you, Mr. See you.
Thank you.